Hey, 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 welcome back to the channel. If you're not part of the army and you're scrolling through YouTube today, you might be wondering, why is the name Jimin suddenly blowing up everywhere? Why is every major music outlet in the world writing about one person? Why did X, formerly known as Twitter, in the United States suddenly flood with the name Park Jimin right at the top of every trending list? Well, the answer lives in one city, Tampa, Florida, and what happened there over 3 back-to-back nights in April 2026 was not just another concert. It was a historic moment that made the entire world of pop music stand up and applaud. So if you're ready, sit back, grab your snacks, because we are about to break down everything that went down in Tampa. From a stage so breathtaking it left 60,000 fans completely speechless, all the way to how the name Park Jimin claimed the #1 trending spot on X in the United States under the music category. Let's go? Before we get into the Jimin story, we need to zoom out a little and look at the bigger picture first, because the context here matters a lot. The year 2025 was one of the most anticipated years for millions of ARMY around the world, because that was the year all 7 members of BTS finally completed their mandatory military service in South Korea. The 7 young men who once shook the world with Dynamite, Butter, and Boy with Love were finally, truly, fully back together. And it wasn't just the reunion that shook the internet. BTS came back with a vengeance by releasing their 10th studio album, titled Arirang, a name that carries enormous meaning. Arirang is a centuries-old Korean folk song, widely regarded as the country's unofficial national anthem. By choosing that name, BTS was essentially telling the world, we're home, we're back to our roots, and we are ready to take over the world all over again. The Arirang album debuted straight at #1 on the Billboard 200. Their lead single, Swim, shot to the top of the Billboard Hot 100. And then came the announcement that sent the entire K-pop fandom into absolute meltdown. The BTS World Tour Arirang, immediately recognized as the largest scale tour in K-pop history, spanning 85 shows across 34 cities worldwide. The tour launched on April 9th at Goyang Stadium in Seoul, South Korea. After setting Seoul and Tokyo on fire, BTS crossed the Pacific to North America. And the first city they chose? Tampa, Florida. That choice was no accident. Tampa has a very special bond with BTS, particularly because Jimin, the oldest member, had held his very first solo concert there in 2025 as part of his #runseekjin_p tour. Jimin had been so overwhelmed by Tampa's energy that he proudly told every single member they absolutely had to come to Tampa. He called it the best crowd he had ever experienced. And his recommendation proved right. BTS made Tampa the opening city of their entire North American leg. Raymond James Stadium, the NFL home of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, with a capacity of around 65,000 seats. But on April 25th, 27th, and 29th of 2026, that stadium belonged entirely to BTS. And of course, to the Army. An estimated 180,000 fans attended those 3 completely sold-out nights. Just think about that number for a second. 180,000 people gathered across 3 evenings for one group. For K-pop on American soil, those numbers are nothing short of extraordinary. Fans came from everywhere. Some drove cross-country. Some flew in from outside the United States altogether. Korean Army made the journey all the way from Seoul. Many wore black and red, the dominant colors of the Arirang album, and some fans went even further, showing up in full hanbok, traditional Korean ceremonial dress, as a tribute to the deep cultural significance behind the album's theme. Outside the venue, the atmosphere was already electric hours before showtime. Large LED ad trucks wrapped in images of BTS members, including of course Jimin, circled the stadium for 3 consecutive days. These trucks were organized and funded entirely by Jimin's fanbase as a collective support project. A very real, very visible declaration of love. Night 1 hit like a thunderbolt. The moment BTS stepped onto that stage, the stadium lights went dark, 60,000 light sticks lit up in unison, and the roar of the Army shook the very walls of Raymond James Stadium. BTS performed nearly every track off Arirang alongside a string of their legendary catalog hits. But the moment that made the internet completely lose its mind was the encore. For the first time on this entire tour, BTS performed their 2021 hit permission to dance. And right after that, they launched into Magic Shop, a song they had not performed since 2019. Fans who had waited years for that moment broke down in tears on the spot. And in the middle of all that greatness, one performer kept stealing the entire show, in the most distinctly his way. Okay, now we get to the heart of everything. Park Jimin, and exactly what made him the brightest star in Tampa. For those who may not know, Jimin is the main dancer and one of the lead vocalists of BTS. He is known for his extraordinary technical dance ability, his deeply expressive stage presence, and a rare gift for connecting with audiences on a purely emotional level. But in Tampa, he took all of that to a completely different dimension. Jimin arrived on stage with his signature flowing long blonde hair, and from the very first moment, the effect on the crowd was immediate. Every single movement he made had a precision that defied logic, sharp, clean, perfectly controlled, yet somehow still felt completely alive and spontaneous at the same time. He opened with Hooligan, and the energy that radiated off him in those first few seconds already had 60,000 people screaming. Then came Run BTS, and the entire stadium became one moving body. His costume was slightly lighter in palette than the outfits from previous tour legs, the ones that earned him his widely celebrated nickname, the Northern Duke, giving his look a fresh energy while still carrying that magnetic, commanding aura fans have come to expect. But the single most viral moment from the first two nights? Jimin's freestyle dance during FY, a track that has no fixed choreography. Jimin took that freedom and turned it into something entirely his own, raw, spontaneous, and absolutely breathtaking. Fancam videos of that moment surpassed millions of views within hours of being posted across multiple platforms. The internet could not stop talking about it. Then on the second night, during the impromptu song segment, the fan favorite moment where members pick a song live based on the crowd's energy, Jimin chose Pied Piper. And that was when he broke out his legendary body roll choreography. The reaction from the crowd? Total, absolute hysteria. A stadium of 60,000 people erupting all at once is a sound unlike anything else on Earth, and Jimin caused every single second of it. Every time Jimin's face appeared on the big screens, the cheering in that stadium never stopped. At one point during the first night, cameras caught a young fan wearing a custom t-shirt that read, "Jimin, my name is Jimin too." And that small, adorable moment went viral all on its own, making fans across the world smile with the kind of joy only a Jimin concert can produce. But if the first two nights were already spectacular beyond words, the third and final night in Tampa took everything to its absolute peak. April 29th, 2026. The last night. The emotional charge in that stadium was already overwhelming before the first note even played. Jimin came out performing with choreography that had become visibly richer and more refined with each night. His vocal stronger, his command of the stage even more total. But the moment that will be talked about for years was when Pepsi, also known internationally as a Silver Spoon, was selected as the impromptu song of the night. Pepsi is a high-energy anthem with its own distinct choreography. But Jimin did not follow the set moves. He chose to freestyle, moving freely across every inch of that extended stage, reaching into every corner, locking eyes with fans on every side of the stadium in the most personal, intimate way you can imagine for a venue that size. His pre-dance alone, before the track even dropped, had the stadium roaring. And once the music started and he began to move with the full force of years of discipline and artistry behind him, 60,000 people simultaneously stopped breathing and then exploded. Videos from that moment spread across social media like wildfire. Within a remarkably short time, the name Jimin was dominating online conversation not just among ARMY, but across the broader music community at large. And this is exactly where the headline of today's video comes in. Immediately after the Tampa concerts ended, Park Jimin did not just trend on X in the United States. He became the #1 trending artist in the music category and the most discussed individual male performer on X Music US. The hashtags that took over the platform included Park Jimin, main dancer Jimin, Jamerica, a fan-coined blend of Jimin and America, Jiminland, and stage commander Jimin. Each of those tags did not just spike briefly. They held their positions for hours, a testament to the sheer scale and consistency of the wave of support behind him. The phenomenon of Jimin America, or Jimerica as fans call it, is something that has been building for years. Jimin has long been known to have an exceptionally strong and vocal fan base in the United States. But what happened after Tampa brought that to a completely new level. This was not just ARMY pushing tags. It was the broader music-listening public joining the conversation, talking about a live performer who had genuinely moved them. Fans proudly called him the stage commander, because Jimin's ability to take complete ownership of a massive stage is something that is genuinely rare in the entertainment world. When Jimin is performing, eyes follow him automatically, not because of a spotlight, but because of something he simply radiates from within. Meanwhile, ARMY from all over the world, from Southeast Asia, Europe, Latin America, and beyond, flooded the platform sharing fancam clips, photos, and highlights of Jimin's best Tampa moments. Posts about him accumulated likes, reposts, and replies within minutes of being published. And the support project with the LED trucks? That ran for all 3 full days of the concert. An organized, fan-funded effort that made sure Jimin's face was literally impossible to miss anywhere near Raymond James Stadium. The trending charts on X were only one part of the picture. The media reaction to BTS in Tampa, and to Jimin specifically, was enormous. Rolling Stone published a full concert report on the Tampa shows, filled with admiration for the group's return to American stages. Billboard covered the event extensively, releasing the complete set list alongside detailed commentary about the surprises of the first night. The Tampa Bay Times published their own review with a headline that read, "4 things we loved about BTS in Tampa, and 1 we didn't." A piece that quickly circulated far beyond the local readership. Local Tampa media was swept up in the excitement as well. One particularly charming story that went viral. All of the BTS members had quietly dined together at Finn's Dockside Bar and Grill in Apollo Beach just days before the concerts began. When RM posted a photo of the group at dinner on Instagram, the restaurant instantly became a fan pilgrimage site, with long lines of ARMY waiting outside just to sit at the same tables as their favorites. WSF, Tampa's public radio station, reported that the economic impact of BTS on the city was significant. Hotels in the surrounding area were fully booked, local restaurants and businesses saw a major surge in foot traffic, and the city's hospitality sector felt the difference across all 3 nights of shows. On a global scale, the response to Jimin's performances reverberated across fan communities in Southeast Asia, East Asia, Europe, and Latin America. A music critic covering the tour even described Jimin as the performer of his generation, a label that is not thrown around lightly in professional music criticism. Tampa may be over, but the BTS World Tour Ararang is nowhere near finished. Following 3 extraordinary nights in Tampa, the North American leg continues to El Paso, Texas, with shows at Sun Bowl Stadium on May 2nd and 3rd, 2026. From there, the tour moves to Mexico City for 3 nights, then to Stanford Stadium in Santa Clara, California, and eventually to Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. The full tour encompasses cities across multiple continents and will keep BTS on the road for months to come. And the question on every fan's mind right now is a simple one. Will Jimin bring more of those legendary freestyle moments to El Paso and beyond? Will there be new impromptu song surprises? New viral fancam moments that make the rest of the internet forget everything else for a day? Based on everything we witnessed in Tampa, the answer feels pretty clear. Before we close out, there's one more thing worth talking about. A question that comes up often outside the ARMY community. Why Jimin? Why, in a group with 7 incredibly talented performers, does the spotlight so consistently find its way to him? The honest answer is not simply that he has the most dedicated fan base, though that is certainly true. Jimin possesses a combination of qualities that is genuinely rare in the performing arts world. His technical dance ability operates at one of the highest levels in the industry. His vocal delivery is emotionally rich and consistently powerful. But more than anything else, he has an on-stage presence, a quality that cannot really be taught or explained. That makes it nearly impossible for an audience, any audience, to look away. The fact that he can step in front of 60,000 people with no choreography and freestyle a full performance that leaves them completely breathless and then do it again on a different night with a completely different song, speaks to something far beyond rehearsal and technique. It speaks to a relationship with performance itself that is deeply personal and seemingly limitless. Jimin does not simply perform for an audience. He performs with them. He reaches into every corner of a stadium and makes the person standing furthest from the stage feel like the entire show was made just for them. That is the gift, and the Army in Tampa felt it every single night. The nickname Stage Commander was not given lightly. It was earned through years of consistency, dedication, artistry, and a genuine love for the stage that every person watching could feel radiating off him in waves. And that is the full story of how Park Jimin of BTS became the #1 trending artist on X in the United States under the music category following the legendary Tampa concerts of the BTS World Tour era. 3 nights in Tampa, 180,000 fans, freestyle dances that broke the internet, impromptu song choices that made entire stadiums weep, and a performer who proved once again, without any shadow of a doubt, why he is considered one of the greatest live entertainers of his generation. BTS is back, and they are back bigger than ever. So what do you think? Have you already watched the fancam videos from Tampa? Which Jimin moment hit you the hardest? Drop everything in the comments below. I genuinely want to know. And if you have not subscribed yet, hit that button right now so you never miss another update on BTS, K-pop, and everything happening in the world of international music. Like the video, share it with a fellow ARMY, and I will see you in the next one. Annyeonghaseyo, and as always, Purple You, Purple Heart.